Conservative peer Lord Callanan welcomed the fact that the Government of Gibraltar had been involved in the negotiations throughout. He, however, asked about the work being carried out to ensure UK citizens would continue to enjoy smooth and free access to Gibraltar as a British territory.
This treaty appears to create an imbalance in the treatment of EU citizens and UK citizens. An EU national may have free access to Gibraltar through the land border without any restrictions whatsoever, but a British national travelling from the UK could potentially be banned from entering at the airport by Spanish border control guards. These are challenging issues and, of course, we can understand why compromise can be necessary, but could the Noble Lord please set out the work that he is doing to ensure that UK citizens continue to have smooth and free access to Gibraltar, which is, after all, still a British territory.
Liberal Democrat Lord Purvis of Tweed sent it right back at him, saying it had been the previous government who'd ignored the wishes of the people of Gibraltar, forced on them the hardest of Brexits, had taken no action to correct the damage, and had refused to present to Parliament a mandate for negotiations towards a sustainable agreement. He said his benches support the treaty and welcomed the constructive amendment in the Gibraltar Parliament, which ensured the motion would be passed unanimously.
Given it was the previous government that ignored the wishes of 96% of the people of Gibraltar in seeking to remain in the EU, and then having been forced on them the hardest of Brexits, and then the previous government took no action to correct the damage they were told by Gibraltarians that would happen, and then refused to present to Parliament a mandate for negotiations to have a sustainable agreement. I therefore thank the government for working closely with the Gibraltar government and agreeing with these benches who said before the election that nothing about Gibraltar should be agreed without Gibraltar. We also welcome, finally, the approach of the Gibraltar Government and the UK Government and indeed the EU, and indeed we hope that we can learn positive lessons and build on this leadership by Gibraltar.
The Liberal Democrat peer sought assurances that the dispute mechanisms between the UK and the EU would also allow for Gibraltar to seek to extract itself from the terms should it feel these had been reneged on. The Deputy Leader of the House of Lords, Lord Collins of Highbury, repeated there would be nothing about Gibraltar without Gibraltar.
We've been clear throughout the negotiations, nothing about Gibraltar without Gibraltar. But this can, the simple fact is it's been negotiated to ensure long-term continued security and prosperity of Gibraltar. The United Kingdom will only exercise its powers on the termination or suspension of obligations under the agreement following the full consultation with the Government of Gibraltar and will follow its wishes and views. That is the principle that we will stick rigidly to.
The treaty and improved relations between the EU and the UK, he said, were not necessarily reliant on each other. This agreement, he added, was for the people and the Government of Gibraltar. On whether it would influence the UK's future, he said, "We all know that the prosperity of our country and Gibraltar requires good relations with the EU." That, he added, was the objective and what they would continue to do.